I realized on my, as I started working that these people I deal with every day, face to face, yes, of course, I am supposed to know them, but people behind the scenes, mahiya ka kung hindi mo sila kilala after a year. If you can't call them by their first name after a year, then I think you have a problem. So know them by name. Second thing that I wanted to touch on is learn to say no, because there are times when you will have to say no, but still get a yes. What I mean by this is sometimes, we're so eager to please people around us, especially if you're new in that company. We're so eager to please na kung ano man yung hihingin sa atin, parang yes ka agad. But sometimes it's as equally important for you guys to say no. Especially for girls, it's important to say no. Especially in my industry, I think it's important to say no. But without offending people. And that's, I think, a craft that you develop as you move forward in your career. I don't expect you guys to have it ironed out and be able to do it perfectly from day one. But I just wanted to keep in mind that no is an option. A lot of my friends who started working in multinational companies and I share similar problems. We say yes, and at the end of the day, kala namin we're doing them a favor, and then we end up getting into trouble. You always have a choice, and that choice is always founded on basic character or principle that you've actually built throughout your lives, especially as a student here in Ateneo, which I think is so important. You don't forget about it the moment you graduate. You start mingling with people from that company. Doesn't mean that you have to go with the flow and actually be like them. Yes, you're learning the skills that are similar to what they know, but doesn't mean that you have to lose yourself and be an entity with them. There's always an option for you to say no, and I think all of you should remember that. Facebook accounts are a great way to know about the company also. I think GMA posts updates every 5 minutes or so about the company. So the information is out there. And I also say that because I made the same mistake, I waited to graduate before I did something about what I wanted to do, which was such a waste of time. Come to think about it. Because how many of you actually work to pay for their tuition? Anyone? And I'm sure even if there is a minority in Ateneo, when I started hosting a talent show for GMA, and that was an opportunity for me to really meet people from different walks of life, I started to realize, gosh, I wasted so much of my time when I was in school, and that's so unfortunate because I didn't have to work to put myself through school, and I complained about my load all the time, but then it wasn't really that heavy either. I think when you know what you want to do, you're never too young, especially when you're in college. Do it now. If you want to go into news, you want to be a news writer, you want to be a news reporter, now go to GMA. Now be an intern. Start writing the scripts for them. You're more than welcome. People would love to have you there. Trust me. They will need your help, especially if you're working for free, di ba? Bakit sila maghihindi sa inyo? For me, I think if you expose yourself, unless kasi how can they know about you if you don't expose yourself? So if you want to be someone, then be in that field already. If it's not about the money, then do it. And I think most of the time, when it comes to things that we like to do, it's not about the money. At least not for the first 10 years, it's not about the money. Unless you're Marian Rivera. And after 3 years, you start earning millions, but that's different, unless you can be Marimar. So there, news department, go there. Go say, I would like to offer my help. I graduated, or I'm a student of Ateneo. I would just like to help in script writing. You just want to be in the studio and help to put lapel on Tita Mel Tiangco. You know why? Because when you're there, you see things. You observe things, and that itself is an education for you. Because when you're there and you're observing, even if you're kakabit ka lang ng lapel kay Tita Mel, now you know Tita Mel. You can actually call her Tita Mel. Diba? You get to know these people. And once you get to know these people, they're all an asset. And another thing that I wanted to emphasize is people yung assets nyo, yung mga kilala nyo ng mga tao. You cannot, now they're in college and, you guys are all students now. But when you graduate, all your friends now will become somebody in their fields. Some of them will, because I took political science, a lot of my friends now are going to be lawyers kasi kakatapos lang ng law school, 4 years. So, you keep your friends because, and make sure that you keep that communication line open with your friends or even people that you just randomly meet. You keep their calling cards. When you meet somebody, make sure you remember. Make sure you keep in touch with that person at least once in every quarter. You build your connections. You build your network of people because this is so important. And I only begun to realize how important this is because my mom used to tell me, yung mga tao na pumapaligid sa'yo, yan ang talagang kayamanan mo. Well, of course, my mom said it in Korean, not in Tagalog. But, and I just started to realize recently na yung mga friends ko na who are not in my industry are such a huge help for me. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know anything about finance. I'm Korean and I suck at math. So my mom doesn't understand why I don't do well in math because she's a math genius. And because I'm Korean, by default, I have to be good in math, but I'm not good in math. I don't know anything about finance. I don't know anything about investing in stocks. Alam yung, di ba, pag nanonood kayo ng CNN, di ba, meron sa ilalim, I just don't know what the heck is that. I always wanted to know, what is that? Arrow red and blue light, and, there's always points going up and down, and people committing suicide because the stock went down. I'm like, what's going on? There's a whole different world out there that I don't know about, and I was very, very blessed to actually meet a friend who's a banker. And this is not for me to make yabang or anything, but this is how important it is for you to diversify the network of people around you. So, for example, I make my monthly wage, right? But when you earn every month, I'm sure you'll have expenses also, diba? So, the money that you save at the end of the day isn't as big as you thought in the beginning. Parang, okay, if I'm gonna earn 50,000, I'm sure I'll be able to save 30. Trust me, it won't happen. Especially the first 3 years of you working and earning money for yourself, I highly doubt it unless you have really, really good self-discipline. But even if you do, I learned this thing from my friend. Make your money work for you. Sabi niya sa akin, Grace, you work so hard for your money. But where's your money now? In the bank. How much interest is it earning? How much is it? 2%? Ano? Sabi niya, trabaho ka na trabaho. I see you sleeping 5 hours a day working. And then you put your money in a bank. The bank earns you 2%, but they're making 12% by reinvesting your money somewhere else. So why are you putting your money there, helping the rich people get richer? Parang he was, putting it in a layman's term, but of course it goes deeper and more technical than that. And so I said, okay, so how do I make my money work for me, right? So, and then he started explaining, you have to learn about money. There are books out there, there's information. And that's the good thing about the generation now. One click of the mouse, the information is there. Wherever you are, it's available to you. There's no excuse for you not to know things, especially if you intend to know them. So I started reading books about investing. I started talking to people about investments. And I was very lucky because last year was a horrible year for stock market worldwide. So parang ang nangyari, bumili ako ng mga stocks on sale. And that's how it was because a $5 stock was down at $1.50. I mean, it was really, it was really bad. So, ang sa akin, I started learning things that had nothing to do with my profession. And to tell you plainly is I was able to triple my money in a year by investing. And this is because I came in at a very, very good time in the investment world. But what the information I'm trying to get to you is not that I made triple my money. That is not the point. The point here is that first, the network of people that you have, and second, that you try to learn things that is not your profession. Because at the end